Good evening and good to have you with us here on the special broadcast. It couldn't get more exciting. We are headed for a nail-biting grand finale over the next couple of hours. And frankly, even now, it's anyone's call which way the results are going to go. And no, I am not talking about the IPL finals right now. Maybe that too will turn out to be this way. But for now, it's the Bihar election results which are also keeping us hanging in suspense. 122 for the NDA, just at the halfway mark as we open this up to a special conversation and a special broadcast here until we have the results in Mahagathbandhan. Not too far behind at 113. LJP currently not leading at all in any of the seats that they contested on. And they contested on a really large number of seats. Others are leading in about 8 seats right now. This is unprecedented, viewers, and it's also because of the COVID protocols that have been put in place that the counting has been extremely slow. It's a slow process. There are additional polling stations. There are additional protocols in place, which is why it is taking so much time. That being said, it's also because there isn't a very clear lead for any of the alliances. BJP has maintained the lead since about 11 a.m. or 10 a.m. this morning. But what is going to be interesting is if they're going to manage to maintain that. That's the NDA. In fact, the BJP was the single largest party for a bit. It's not so anymore. The RJD is now emerging as the single largest party. It's all going up and down. And that's why it's going to be so interesting right now to see which way we are headed. Don't worry, in case you've missed what's happened through the day, we are going to be telling you what is on cards, what are the key takeaways, the key trends from all the analysis that we have done. But first up, let me just very simply put it across to you that the COVID protocols have made the process more elaborate. There was 63% higher number of polling booths this time around, 45% increase in EVMs due to the pandemic. Number of counting halls, though, did not increase in proportion, which is why in some of the constituencies, we're going to be seeing 50 rounds of counting before we get the final numbers in. So if you're wondering why the results are still not in, this is one big factor. The other big factor, of course, is the fact that there is no clear majority. I want to very quickly say good evening to the panelists who are in the studios with me. And they were with us in the first half as well. We've all taken our breaks, freshened up. We don't know for how long we're going to be in. I cannot promise you when I'm going to allow you to go back home, but it's going to be an exciting ride. That's all I can say. Good evening to Tuhin, Sinha, author and BJP leader on the right. Of course, Vinay continues to be with us. He's barely had a break, but he's used to it. He has years of experience behind him in TV journalism and all kinds of political dramas and election results. So it's not worn him down yet. Good evening to Mr. Nilanjan Mukhopadhyay and Sanjay Singh. Good to have you back with us. Let's also see if we can go across to our reporters who are joining us from various locations. Alok is also with us this evening, and Alok is actually joining us from the BJP headquarters in Delhi. And there's been quite a bit of activity there all evening as well. Alok, what's the sentiment within the BJP headquarter camp?
Yes, Tanvi, in fact, I am standing at BJP headquarters, and here this is the human chain you can clearly see. In fact, Meenakshi Lekhi is with us. First of all, I would like to talk to her, ma'am. Whom will you credit for this victory in other states and also lead in the Bihar?
It is very evident that BJP is leading, whether it's Madhya Pradesh or Bihar or any other part. And the magic of Mr. Modi has worked, and everybody can see whichever part of the country he has gone, he has brought the change. And that change which he brought with the mandate of 2014 has reached the ground level.
What will you say on Nitish part? Because they
I don't want to comment. I don't want to comment about an ally. The only thing which we can see, the positive part is BJP has come up trumps like anybody else.
Tejashwi is giving a tough fight.
I will not comment about anyone. All I'm saying is BJP has done well, and BJP is a party which has come up before everyone, and Bihar, the victory of BJP is evident.
Evident. So counting is still left, but
Absolutely. So counting is on, but we are winning.
You are winning. So this is what the mood here is. You can clearly see that the minister, central minister, has just arrived. Dr. Harshvardhan has just came here and he is meeting with the party workers. All other senior party workers. What we are learning, Tanvi, that JP Nadda may come at any time and he will also brief because he's the president. But I would like to show you that flags on the hands of all the party workers, those who are here with the symbols on their hands. And sloganeering is also going on. This is kind of...
मोदी जी को जय श्री
क्या लग रहा है पूरी लहर इधर हो रही है अभी बीजेपी?
बिल्कुल जीतेगी बीजेपी, एनडीए सरकार बिहार में जीतेगी और बहुमत से सरकार बनाएगी। बिल्कुल बनाएगी सरकार। हम दिल्ली से ही हैं।
So many people have arrived here from various places that include the NCR region as well, but definitely the mood is cheerful. However, they are still waiting because the counting is still left. Back to you.
All right. Well, there is obviously a lot of enthusiasm there. I like how Meenakshi Lekhi did not want to talk even about the allies or comment at all, but simply talk about the fact that the alliance is going to win and BJP has performed really well. So that's the takeaway we're getting from there. Alok, we'll keep coming back to you. JP Nadda is set to arrive and address the party workers there. Harshvardhan already there. Meenakshi Lekhi already there. We'll also go across to our reporters in Patna. But first up, let me see if I can go across to Aarti Subramaniam, who's joining in from our newsrooms. Aarti, we're going to have two big talking points in the next 1 hour. One of them is the strike rate. It really tells us a lot about how each of the parties have actually performed basis the number of seats that they fought on. Take us through those details.
Well, that's right, Tanvi. Let me kick off this evening by a cricket analogy and beat Vinay to it, since we are now getting into IPL territory time. However much a batsman might score, you always have to ask strike rate kitna tha. So let's just tell you what the strike rate was, because that's what determines how well a party really has done in the tickets that they have been given. Did they justify or validate the decision to give them that many number of tickets? We'll start off with the BJP. Now, the BJP contested 110 seats. This is just the BJP, and they've got 64.23% of a strike rate. That's how much they've converted of the seats that they have won. The left parties, and I'm going to come to this in just a bit before we first deal with the JDU, which is, of course, in an alliance with the BJP. They contested 115 and their strike rate is 36.07. What this establishes unambiguously is that the BJP has emerged in pole position in this particular alliance. It's no longer the smaller party. It is now the big brother in this alliance, should it choose to continue with this alliance. Let's just look at the RJD. The RJD had contested 144 seats and their strike rate is 52.08%. It's a remarkable performance by them, no doubt, completely validating and justifying their decision to be the bigger brother. But then the question is, should they have given the Congress 70 seats? Because the Congress has a strike rate of 28.57%. But the biggest surprise factor, even perhaps more than we're so used to writing of the left in Indian electoral politics, but the left, which contested about 29 seats, they have a strike rate of 62.07%. When was the last time that you heard something like that? And in the midst of all this, the tight numbers, this photo finish that we're heading for, perhaps the story of the left and its remarkable turnaround in Bihar is one that has perhaps been a little buried, but the JDU certainly having a lot to learn from the BJP for now.
Yes, and this is going to be a concern for the JDU. And of course, a lot of good news for the BJP. So let's break it down. And there are a couple of talking points here, Vinay, that I want to focus on. But let's begin with BJP, the party that's gradually, election after election, only strengthened itself to now become the overarching, the bigger one within the alliance and one of the biggest parties in Bihar.
Yes, but before I say that, I mean, to everybody who's watching right now, Delhi Capitals has won the toss, elected to bat first, but there is a much more exciting match in the Indian political league currently, which is extremely exciting, much more. The Delhi Capitals match is going to get exciting only after 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Before 11, this is the place to be, because this is more exciting and more fun and far more at stake.
Absolutely.
Because, this is almost like a cliffhanger. I mean, the 11 a.m. energy that Sanjay was referring to all through morning with me has gotten extended to 11 p.m. now, because obviously we still don't know what's going to happen. We obviously didn't bargain for COVID slowing down all the process. But yes, to coming to your question on BJP, well, I think irrespective of the final outcome of this result, I think we still can't say very sure, in as many words what will happen. But irrespective of this, I still believe that Bihar's politics is now set for a tectonic change, because the BJP, even if just hypothetically, if they are, if they somehow manage to scrape through and form the government with JDU, their next year, couple of years is now going to be much brighter, because they have now positioned themselves as the numero uno party, at least on one side of the divide. Of course, the RJD is now the single largest party and not the BJP, but still, they are pretty much in line to now replace the JDU as the principal party in that state. And I think that's a fairly tectonic change, because this is the one state where they've never been able to do that. They've always played the smaller brother. They've never been able to actually upstage Nitish Kumar's dominance over the political scene. And they haven't been able to outsmart the politics of the face of it till this election. And I'll also tell you that this particular result is also an example of how the BJP has outsmarted the Nitish Kumar's camp at pretty much their own game. I mean, that's something that I think must be pointed out. That there is a little bit of a situation of Nitish being caught off guard by the way the BJP has played this game. So for me, going forward, the BJP's game in Bihar is now much stronger, irrespective of what happens at the end of the game.
Sanjay Singh, do you want to come in on this?
To begin with, fully agree with whatever Vinay had said. BJP's strike rate, as it was, Aarti explained it beautifully, is over 66%, and it can go up to 70% also. Fact remains that incumbent Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, who has been Chief Minister for 15 years, played elder brother's role in BJP-JDU alliance for last 15 years. His strike rate is, I would say, poor. Somebody who has been Chief Minister, losing more than half of his seat. Last time he contested on 100 seats and won around 77. This time around he contested around 110 seats, and current number is around 40. So that's a huge disappointment for the NDA, and also personal setback for Nitish Kumar. Nitish Kumar, in fact, this is time to make a review. I would say, to begin with, from Nitish Kumar's part, he should talk to BJP leadership about whatever happens, should they manage to secure victory in clear terms. But this is a situation whereby two things are very important here. A, the turnaround of left CPIML, I would say in particular, has been a force multiplier for the RJD in areas, because CPIML and CPI, not CPM so much.
Right.
CPIML has supportive base of few percentage voters here and there, and in some pockets that support base is concentrated. Therefore, you are seeing these numbers. And also, they boosted RJD's prospect. In BJP's case, JDU, in fact, went on the other extreme. In fact, JDU's strength did not actually work. Nitish Kumar as a Chief Minister, there was huge negative sentiment against Nitish Kumar in these elections. And for Tejashwi also, I would say I'm not really a fan of RJD's politics, I would admit that. But fact remains, this is a huge leg up for Tejashwi Yadav, who had been a complete greenhorn, coming out of shadows of his father. His father is in jail. Sympathy factor, support base, of course, was there. But then managing without Lalu Prasad Yadav's presence, 77 seat as it is now, that's a huge leg up for Tejashwi Yadav also.
Okay, let me also say good evening to Praveen Jha, Professor of Social Sciences, Science, Economics and Political Science at JNU, and also Prafulla Ketkar, editor of Organiser, joining us this evening. Prafulla Ketkar, let's get your views in on this. Two parties with the best of the strike rates right now. Two sides, BJP and the left. How do you see that as a message from the people of Bihar?
See, Tanvi, BJP always used to have a better strike rate in Bihar. You see from the way this alliance was formed, even in 2005, BJP had a better strike rate. Barring 2015 when Nitish, fought with RJD. But what was different this time, and what is going to unfold now is perhaps BJP and JDU did not understand that Jungle Raj narrative is no longer sustainable simply because after 15 years in school, the first time voters are looking for something new, and their collective memory that entire narrative of Jungle Raj perhaps could not connect, and that was clearly visible. And despite that, if BJP is managing this strike rate, then this is remarkable. Because if you go by the all exit poll numbers and all the predictions and the pillars that we're getting from the ground, it clearly shows that BJP has consolidated its own vote base in Bihar, and now it is the party to reckon with as far as the state politics is concerned. So I see this exactly a 2013-14 movement for BJP in Maharashtra when they surpassed Shiv Sena as the single largest party. So that is one. Second important factor is I think there will be automatically now a generational change even with BJP. Now how Nitish sees this, because JDU doesn't have that party to new kind of leadership, but in BJP also I believe that there will be. So there is, in any ways, this is going to be a tectonic shift as far as the Bihar politics is concerned. Remember, first time we have the election without Sharad Yadav, without Ramvilas Paswan. Both of them are not there on the scene. Lalu Prasad Yadav was only at the somewhere in the background, and Nitish Kumar, somewhere, to some extent, underplayed or playing emotional card that this is my last hit.
Right.
So this is going to be a changing game as far as Bihar politics is concerned.
Okay, Tuhin, you wanted to come in?
So I completely agree with both what Prafullji said and what Vinayji had said. What makes this tectonic shift very special is the fact that this tectonic shift has been achieved with BJP contesting only 45% of the seats. 110 out of 243 seats. So if you can see the sea change, if you can see the fact that it has emerged as the bigger partner over here, you imagine the next time around, let's suppose 2024 Lok Sabha elections,
Correct.
if a situation arises when I'm just saying if it arises, you imagine, Maharashtra and Bihar were two states where BJP was restrained for several reasons. It was following the coalition dharma to the best ability that it could. But I think the opportunities that were waiting to be explored,
Yeah.
I think this marks the turning point for the party in both of these states for the future.
Correct.
And what makes it also special is the fact that in both of these states, since we don't have an overarching leader, a new generation of leadership is likely to take over.
Might I just add, as we have this conversation, that for the first time in many, many hours, BJP's NDA's leads have actually fallen below the halfway mark. So they have now come down to 119, and the gap between Mahagathbandhan and the NDA leads has further narrowed. Yes, Mr. Nilanjan.
We have been talking about a tectonic shift.
Yeah.
Now, I think, we use the word tectonic in a very loose way. Yes, there is a generational change. Yes, that the last of the JPites are out of the leadership position in all the political parties. But in terms of narrative, it is a very significant change not from the BJP, but from the RJD. Let's look at what was the BJP narrative in this particular election. It eventually came down to Jai Shri Ram and Bharat Mata Ki Jai, which means that there is no shift in the BJP narrative. 2 points. One is the slogan which was coined by Tejashwi Yadav, Dawai, Padhai, Likhai, and Kamai. Second is the performance of the left, which I think is very significant because it brings emphasis on bread and butter issues. It is once again the roti kapda or makan, which is becoming a dominant issue in large parts of areas which are not traditional RJD bases. So I don't think that we should look at the elections as to what is changing only in terms of individuals, but also in terms of content. There is very close contestation on what issues will the future elections be fought on.
Okay.
The second point which I want to make, which is going to have immense impact on the Bihar elections, regardless of who is the chief minister, is the impact on Bengal.
Yeah.
I heard earlier during my break, the General Secretary of the CPI-ML giving an interview in which he says that this is going to have an immense impact on Bengal. And yes, the left there is going to make it very clear that the BJP is the primary enemy, that Trinamool Congress is a lesser evil. So the principle of lesser evil is going to be the backdrop of the elections in West Bengal. Even if the BJP is unable to form the government and NDA does not get the majority and NDA is not in power, but the BJP gets a tremendous boost for its Bengal campaign. It's very significant that even before counting, even before the last day's polling, Mr. Amit Shah was already there in West Bengal.
Yeah.
There were, of course, different, ways of interpreting it as to why Mr. Amit Shah went away. At that point, the exit poll was dominating, so it was felt that the BJP has given up on Bihar, which could be true, may not be true also. That this result has definitely surprised even the BJP.
Because you brought this up and because you brought up what bearing it may have also on West Bengal, then let's also look at left's performance here. Now, it's a combination of multiple left parties,
it's going to be sustained, it's going to be boosted tremendously by the result in Bihar. The left has not performed credibly anywhere in this country but JNU.
There also they keep taking a beating.
Not exactly. They continue to be there in a fair majority, and at least there is a challenge.
Okay, quick opening comments as well from the professor from JNU, Mr. Praveen. Good evening to you. And let's talk a little bit about left's performance. I mean, there is no denying that they, apart from the two other states, they do have a bit of a presence in Bihar. But does this performance surprise you?
Actually not. You see, this talk about individual strike rates is very misleading. In the areas in which left is doing well in Bihar, they have been a significant force and there has been very solid on-the-ground coordination with their partners, which is what is giving them this kind of strike rate. As it happens, you have to go region by region and, different parts of the state and so on. And also partners, etc. Talking of, let's say, JDU, you see, we know very well that there was a kind of nefarious design, bring down JDU through LJP. Right? Now, possibly JDU transferred its vote very solidly to BJP, but obviously the constituencies where LJP's damage, LJP's damage was really huge. Now that then brings down the strike rate of JDU. So you really have to be far more nuanced in terms of understanding the strike rates when you're talking elections. Number one. Number two, it is indeed the case that it's very heartening to see that some solid issues of economic well-being, social well-being, bread and butter, etc., are being backed by the electorate. Now, for that, clearly cannot be done by left in isolation. Left has to work with many others, with those which are interested in progressive issues, instead of kind of issues which are stuff of basically BJP discourse, as was pointed out, Bharat Mata ki Jai and Ram Mandir and so on and so forth. Now, it is indeed the case. Ask me, no hesitation in saying that close to 25-30% of the electorate in states like UP and Bihar have become hardcore supporters of Hindutva politics. And that politics, it doesn't matter what is happening on the ground and so on, they will stick.
Right.
It's a certain party and so on. So if you take these factors into account, I mean, nothing is surprising to me in terms of what is happening in Bihar, except the fact that RJD managed to galvanize coalition, which is Mahagathbandhan, in the last 1 month or so. And
Okay.
that is something which is a huge credit to them.
So, okay, very quickly, I need to take a short break, but Prafulla Ketkar, do you want to weigh in on this? Should we see it in its entirety, which is, the RJD galvanizing the entire alliance, or is there more to what we're seeing as far as left's performance is concerned?
Absolutely. Tanvi, Congress was always a weak link. I think RJD missed that completely. Giving 70 seats was a big mistake. But as far as left is concerned, I firmly believe whether in studios or on ground, it is always overestimated and given more space than required. Still, please try and understand when CPI ML and entire left got independently 2015, it was not more than 2%. And even after now riding on, Tejashwi's back, it is still around the same percent. So whatever equations are presented in the name of, the reality is, in fact, Tejashwi's smart move was didn't allow corruption becoming the main issue. He brought, this systematic alliance. It was BJP, in fact, Nitish Kumar and Narendra Modi, because migration was a key issue there. That's why central schemes and their delivery became the key point, and not Bharat Mata and Jai Shri Ram. Sorry, both the candidates are absolutely wrong. They are cut off from the ground.
In fact, I just read somewhere this evening that, and this is open to interpretation, but the fact that lakhs of migrants walked for 100, 200,000, 1,400 kilometers to get back to Bihar, and everybody spoke about their plight and their pain through the lockdown, and now it seems many of them have still ended up voting for Narendra Modi, and that seems to be an interesting take. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but I need to take a very short break. On the other side, we also put the spotlight on vote share. The seat share is still very, very open to what happens in the next couple of hours. But let's see if we can pick up some trends from the vote share that the parties have so far got. Stay with us. Welcome back. Well, we still don't have any clarity to give you on who's won the Bihar elections right now. NDA still seems to be leading in 121 seats, Mahagathbandhan in 114 seats. But we have lots of interesting insights on how the performances have been, and that's what we're going to talk about until we get the final results. Let me also tell you there are lots of hectic movements and meetings happening even in the city of Bihar right now. Sushil Modi and Bhupendra Yadav have arrived as Chief Minister Nitish Kumar's residence. In fact, that was about an hour ago, so they're already in a meeting there at Nitish's residence. Let's straight away go back to Aarti Subramaniam, joining us from the newsroom. Aarti, we're still looking at the way it's panning out as far as seats are concerned, but vote share-wise, what can you tell us about various parties and their performance?
So we don't think there's going to be a very drastic change in the vote share. So I think it's safe to go with this and to analyze it further. The BJP, and when I say BJP plus, it also includes the HAM and the VIP that's part of the JDU and the BJP, which is contesting. Now the BJP has 21.61% of the vote share, while the RJD has 23.45%. The RJD clearly having the larger vote share, even though it's just by perhaps a wafer-thin margin. They are also, remember, contesting more seats than the BJP. The JDU having 16.04% of the vote share. Interestingly, it is the Congress that has got 9.7%. It is the LJP that has got 5.56%. And I think a further analysis of this and where they got those votes from and how many of the chances of the NDA did they ruin with those by polling 5.56% is going to be very interesting. The left, as we were talking, who had a remarkable run in this particular election, have polled 4.13%, and another big chunk of the vote share, that is 20.15% coming from others, including, mind you, the AIMIM, which has done at least half an hour ago, they had 5 seats that they had polled. So this is also a very crucial factor on the votes that have been pulled by the others. But for the RJD, it has been certainly a good performance. But the BJP, they're sniping at their heels right there with the number of votes polled.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, you're right, Aarti. AIMIM is still leading in four of those seats. They've already won 1 seat, all 5 in, of course, Simhanchal area. We were getting a reaction from Manoj Jha. Let's see if we can listen in.
मैं आपके माध्यम से, क्योंकि आप लोग लगातार देख रहे हैं कैसे चुनाव का नतीजा बदल रहा है, मैं आपको बताऊं, कई क्षेत्रों का नाम कह सकता हूं, हालांकि 300 ऐसे क्षेत्र हैं, जैसे परबत्ता, परिहार, बरबीघा, मधुबन, त्रिवेणीगंज, महाराजगंज, अमनौर, सरायरंजन, कटिहार, कुड़हनी, बोचहा, ये तमाम जो जगह है, खगड़िया, ये तमाम जगह है जहां या तो डिले किया जा रहा है, सर्टिफिकेट नहीं दिया जा रहा है, टाल मटोल किया जा रहा है। तो मैं पुनः कहूंगा कि माननीय नीतीश जी, आप मुख्यमंत्री अब चंद घंटों के लिए हैं और कलंक मत ढोइए अपने सर पे, और आग्रह करूंगा प्रशासन के लोगों को, जहां तक मेरी बात जाती है, आप निष्पक्ष तरीके से अपना काम करिए, जीत हमारी ही होगी। आप कितनों विलंब कर लो, बस मैं आग्रह करूंगा कि लोग तमाम प्रशासन के लोग इस बात को समझें और मुख्यमंत्री जी भी समझें, उनके डिप्टी साहब भी समझें। बस इतना ही हमें कहना था। जल गया है। नहीं, चेतावनी नहीं है, चेतावनी देना हमारा काम ही नहीं है। प्रशासन को ये बता रहा हूँ कि निष्पक्ष तरीके से काम करे।
सरकार बना रहे हैं ना?
पक्का 200% सरकार बन रही है। जिंदाबाद, जिंदाबाद बन रही है।
He's been the only visible leader who's repeatedly come out and made comments, sometimes controversial comments through the day today, repeatedly saying they're going to win. He's in fact earlier in the day even given a number to what their own internal estimates from on ground say, and then he keeps talking about an unbiased counting by the administration. I don't know where he seems to be getting that.
No, but this is deliberate. This is all planned. They are obviously sending a message. And also remember, Manoj Jha is the RJD's link to national media as well. I mean, he knows everybody in the national media and he's got a rapport going, much more than Tejashwi, because Tejashwi is still building that rapport. He's got a rapport for a while.
Right.
But it's deliberate. They are deliberately now coming out. I think they are just making sure that, they're just planting the right information in the public space and also planting the right amount of doubts in case people want to raise certain questions.
Vinay said it rightly. Manoj Jha is basically, I would say, a mukhota of good mukhota for RJD. DU professor, a person who otherwise reads a lot and is fairly articulate and presents a decent view. The points that he is raising, he is not saying malpractices are happening. He is not saying that. But he is giving a message whereby you interpret your own way and you start debate discussion in various studios. He is not talking to people at large. He is giving this message to various panelists and various anchors, various editors in different media outlets that this might happen. Why is this delay? He is raising that question.
Let's keep the pot boiling, essentially. It's just about keeping the pot boiling.
Trump. In a way.
Trump is more direct.
But
Stop count is what he says.
In the afternoon, he said we are clearly headed, leading in 86 seats. So he's
yes,
also,
he did.
In all honesty, he's also a bit delusional today. And because
well, you never know. We still don't know where we're going to end up and how long this night is going to be.
Let's be very conservative with our adjectives today.
In the time that he made those comments, the gap has again increased to 10.
Yes.
And if during the day at any point of time, if the RJD alliance had inched ahead of NDA, then I would take his, caveat seriously.
Quite ahead in the early hours,
I agree. There are about 1 crore votes still waiting to be counted, but the fact that the lead is consistent, I still believe will help us.
Okay, so
the word of caution is there both ways.
The word of caution both ways.
The shift that we are talking about, political shift, we should also, this is also election counting results process. After post introduction of EVM, this is for the first time when this is reminding us of poster of ballot boxes, whereby election process, rounds and several rounds and bulletins, super gaya, niche aaya till evening, we don't know how long we are going to sit like this.
Yeah.
So that's happening.
Yes, well, there was a bit of a nail-biter finish for Madhya Pradesh, but I don't think people waited that long till wee hours in the night with such anticipation as we are right now for Bihar. But let's get to the point of vote share.
I was wanting to just make a small point. You know, we were talking about, it's very easy to say that the Congress has failed. The Congress has done miserably. Look at its strike rate. But let's look at it from a different prism. What has the Congress brought to the alliance? How has the RJD benefited? Break down the vote share of the Mahagathbandhan. The RJD has about 23-24% vote. The Congress is bringing in 9+% of vote. The left is bringing about 4 or 5% of vote. This makes it within striking distance of the NDA vote share. I think Tejashwi, whoever has been either on his own or whoever have been his advisors, said that don't go only by what the Congress may win, but look at what the Congress can bring to you in those constituencies where on its own it will not be able to get more than 5,000 votes.
That's right. Just to add to what Nilanjan is saying, I think there's an important caveat we should tell our viewers that vote share analysis in a situation where alliances are changing need to keep one factor in mind. There is also a concept of transferability of votes from one alliance to the other. And hence the vote share in itself may be a little misleading, which means that last time if I was in partnership with somebody else, did the partner have the ability to transfer as many votes to me if I was contesting on his or her seat is a question. So the transferability of the votes between one set of the partner to the other plays a big part, and that should be considered, because otherwise, and sometimes I may be unhappy with a candidate and I just may go to the rival. It's quite possible. I mean, that's something like for instance, in some cases people are saying that's what happened with the LJP. That they, instead of getting upset with the the JDU, they actually punished the RJD. That's some seats people are analyzing.
So the LJP is so far managed 5.5% vote share. But so let me ask this in another way, because at the end of the day, for a common man who's tracking this information, what it matters is the number of seats, and the number of seats you win or you lose. Now, how do you explain the fact, and Mr. Praveen Jha, maybe you can come in on this, how do you explain that the BJP has a great strike rate, the BJP will possibly be the single largest party, if not the RJD, but the BJP in vote share terms right now is looking, is at a much lower level than what they were last year. So they've improved on the winnability of the seats, but their vote share has actually gone down.
Winnability, as we were discussing earlier, has to do with how there is coordination on the ground among different constituents of the particular alliance, and whether they succeed in transferring votes to each other or not. So that is the critical factor, right? And of course, as regards vote share, I mean, the first obvious thing is how many seats are you contesting, right? So, if you have Congress vote share 9% and somebody who's let's say 140 seats, right? That should be treated proportionally, in terms of you have to make adjustments in terms of per constituency or in the aggregate by making appropriate adjustments. I think that is an important point. But yes, what you are saying in terms of the transition between two different elections, either assembly elections or if you're looking at Lok Sabha election and then this one, compared to Lok Sabha, of course, it's a massive come down. Isn't that so? In terms of vote share, right? So, what should be compared with what, and that complexity of alliances, etc., must be kept in mind. I think that is important.
See, Congress for long has been part with the RJD. It has been party and partner with RJD government in 2005 to 2000 to 2005. And in other elections also, Congress has partnered. Even in last assembly election, Congress was an ally of RJD, and then
the
also
oldest ally of the Congress.
Yeah, also, and most consistent. RJD on its part has been most consistent ally of RJD, irrespective of Rahul Gandhi ordinance Paro event. Congress, in that sense, Mayawati used to say that Congress does not have ability to transfer its votes.
Yeah.
Congress, BSP transfers its vote to the Congress, not the vice versa. Similarly, in UP election, we saw Congress did not have ability to transfer its vote to the Samajwadi Party, and Samajwadi Party massively suffered. So thereby this this argument, whether Congress actually had this ability, Congress always have and will always have, say 10 to 15% vote share in different parts of the country, depending on number of seats they fight. The point that Praveen Jha was making, vote share, actually if you contest all whole number of seats, then that vote percentage may go up. In this scenario, I think the another important factor that we are missing, and we were talking in the break, was Owaisi's AIMIM.
Okay, so hold on to that thought, Mr. Singh, because we are going to talk about
Just
that.
quickly,
In fact, I want to go in further also about Congress and Congress's performances. We've touched upon it. I know all of you have more points to say on that as well.
Just
we will.
30-second, one quick point. At a time when everybody's anticipating a nail-biting finish, let me play the spoiler and tell you it's not really going to be that close a finish, simply because out of the 21 seats in which the margin of victory or defeat is less than 1,000, 16 RJD is leading. So
Correct.
if at all there is a chance of it turning the other way, it will be RJD who will be, a few seats will be slipping out of RJD's kitty.
And therefore,
it will
Manoj Jha came into the picture.
Sorry?
And therefore, Manoj Jha's statement
Well,
comes
you know,
into
it's already a nail-biting finish, because we're still here talking about who's going to win, who may or may not, rather than talking about the details of what Bihar's next chief minister could be doing. So that being said, yes, we'll wait and watch which way it goes. If, like Tuhin has been saying for last few days, if ND ends up with 135, or if it's the other way around, we'll wait and watch for that. But thank you to all of our panelists, especially to Prafulla Ketkar and Praveen Jha for joining us. Of course, those in the studio with me will continue to stay. We're going to take a very short break. On the other side, we put the spotlight on the big talking points. I have 5 key questions for our panelists, and we will arm ourselves with data, with insights and examples, and then debate those 5 questions. Stay with us here on Mirror Now.